You know that feeling when you're lying in bed at night, scrolling through Instagram, and you catch a glimpse of someone living the life you desire, consistently working out, building the business of their dreams. You notice those books on your shelf gathering dust, and suddenly something shifts. That's it. You whisper to yourself, tomorrow marks day one of the new me. You set your alarm for 5 a.m., download a meditation app, and maybe even invest in some stylish workout gear. The motivation surges through you, and you can already envision yourself excelling. Day 1, incredible. You feel unstoppable. Day 2, still powering through. Day 3, that's when things take a turn. Your alarm now feels like the enemy. Your meditation app is hidden under a pile of TikTok notifications, and those workout clothes have morphed into the comfiest pajamas. If you're nodding along right now, I understand. I've been there. Perhaps more times than I'd care to admit. And here's something that might sound wild. It's not your fault. Listen, if you're the type of person who immediately starts scrolling when someone mentions discipline or morning routines, spare me just 10 minutes, only that. If what I'm about to reveal doesn't completely transform your perspective on self-improvement, feel free to close the video, unsubscribe, and move on. But if you're still with me, I'm going to reveal why every piece of advice you've been fed about personal growth is misleading. No need for extra motivation, no reliance on willpower, just a straightforward, science-based system that makes self-improvement as irresistible as that endless TikTok scroll. This isn't about morphing into a productivity machine or falling into toxic hustle culture. It's about grasping how your brain operates and leveraging that knowledge to make personal growth as routine as brushing your teeth. Neuroscience research from Stanford University shows our brains are inherently designed to follow the path of least resistance. That's why willpower often fails. But here's the twist. We can turn that very wiring to our benefit. In this video, I'll detail the exact system I employ to revolutionize my life. From someone who couldn't focus for 5 minutes to a person who manages a thriving business, goes to the gym 5 times a week, and reads 30 books a year. And no, I'm not extraordinary. I just figured out the secret. Step 1, the dopamine hack. Let's dive into something that's reshaping your brain in real time. That urge to check your phone the moment you wake up, it isn't just a habit. It's a dopamine dependency that derails your entire day. Dr. Andrew Huberman from Stanford Medical School uncovered something intriguing. Checking social media right after waking floods your brain with dopamine, the very chemical released when you consume sugar or indulge in other pleasures. But here's what rarely gets mentioned. That dopamine burst in the morning actually undermines your brain's inherent reward system for the remainder of the day. Before you know it, focusing on important tasks becomes nearly impossible as your brain chases its next social media hit. Instead, take a leaf out of High Performer's playbook during the first hour after waking. Absolutely no social media. None whatsoever. If your profession demands checking messages, that's fine. Just restrict it to essential emails or WhatsApp. Your brain needs time to reset its natural dopamine balance. Think of your dopamine system like a muscle. Every time you mindlessly scroll, you're training it to crave fleeting, shallow rewards. But the good news is, we can retrain it. I call this method progressive reward stacking. Begin your day with 10 minutes of meditation or a light workout. This naturally elevates dopamine levels in a beneficial way. Then, dive into a deep work session. Dedicate 50 minutes to a single task. Close all other apps and leave your phone in another room to avoid distraction. When those 50 minutes lapse, take a brisk 10-minute break to reset your brain. Stand up immediately, step outside if you can, take several deep breaths, sip some water, and do a few jumping jacks or stretches to get the blood moving. Just remember, steer clear of social media during this break, or you'll completely derail your focus and struggle to regain your groove. You might ask, why opt for a 50-10 split instead of the typical 25-minute Pomodoro? Research indicates it takes roughly 23 minutes to hit peak focus, so with 25-minute sessions, you might cut off the moment you're fully in the zone. Keep in mind, dopamine isn't the enemy. It's one of your brain's strongest motivators for focus and productivity. But, like any tool, it requires proper use. This is why most productivity tips fall short. They concentrate on willpower rather than the actual workings of your brain. Step 2. Identity shifts. The most common mistake is honing in on actions rather than identity. It might seem odd initially, but bear with me because this is the turning point. Most people approach self-improvement all wrong. They focus on what they need to do instead of who they need to become. Think about it. How often have you said, I need to go to the gym, I should read more? Or, I have to eat healthier. Notice a pattern? They're all actions. And that's precisely why they falter, because you're forcing yourself to perform instead of evolving into a new person. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, found something fascinating. Every action you take is essentially a vote for the kind of person you want to be. But the trick is to cast that vote even before you take the action. Here's the real-world application. Instead of saying, "I need to go to the gym," start affirming, "I am an athlete." It might feel contrived at first, but observe the change. Athletes never debate whether they should exercise. They don't require extra motivation to eat healthily. They naturally get enough sleep and care for their bodies because their actions reflect their identity. It shifts from forcing yourself to simply embodying who you truly are. Research from Stanford's psychology department indicates that our brains are programmed to preserve consistency between our actions and our self-image. When you change your identity first, your brain adjusts your actions to align with it. However, you can't just declare this and expect immediate magic. You need to reinforce your new identity every single day. Start your morning by writing a statement of your new identity. Even if it seems elaborate, imagine it clearly. Seek small daily confirmations of that identity. And at night, reflect on how well you lived up to it. Remember, identity alone isn't sufficient. You must also structure your environment to support this new self. Step 3. The No-Willpower System. Here's a mind-blowing fact. MIT researchers found that 95% of your daily actions aren't the result of conscious decisions. They're triggered by your environment. Consider that. 95% explains the unplanned snack you indulged in because it was right there on your desk, the workout you skipped because your gym clothes were buried in the laundry, and even that book you haven't touched because it's competing with your phone on the nightstand. Relying solely on willpower is like trying to swim upstream. You're battling your surroundings instead of harnessing them to your advantage. So how do we reverse this? Start by scrutinizing your morning routine. Many people keep their phone by the bed, like attempting to quit sugar while working in a candy store. Instead, place your phone in another room before you go to sleep, or somewhere that's not easily accessible. Replace it with a book you're eager to read, your journal, a glass of water, or even your workout clothes, neatly arranged and ready at your workspace. Tidy up your desk before bed, leaving only what's necessary for your most important morning task, and tuck away all potential distractions. Step 4. The 1% Rule. Forget about drastic overnight changes. Concentrate on improving by 1% every day. The math is simple yet astonishing. If you get just 1% better daily, you'll be 37 times better by the end of the year. Most people aim for monumental changes and end up failing. I could elaborate on this system for hours, but knowledge without action is futile. So here's your challenge. Choose one strategy from this video and put it into practice tomorrow. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Remember, don't be the person who merely watches self-improvement videos. Be the one who actively transforms their life. See you in the next one.